So I've got this MaxxAir fan that has been giving me some trouble for quite a while now. I believe it's a voltage issue. So what happens is I will power it on, the fan will kick on, the shroud will open like normal, and then it'll operate for about 3 to 4 seconds before throwing an error code, beeping, closing, and then just stopping. So people have reported on it being circuit board issues. I've looked at mine and replaced it, and that was not the problem. But another thing that comes up often is it's a voltage issue. So this fan is designed to run on 12 volts DC. So the plan is to put a voltage regulator on it, cap it at 12 volts, and see if that resolves this issue. So let's take this thing apart and have a look. Okay, with the inner shroud out of the way, we can see our wired connections. This one is going up to the motor, and the one coming through the seam in there, that's our power source coming here from my circuit breaker. So let's pop this apart, and let's also test the voltage, make sure we got the right polarity going, and then we'll see about wiring in the voltage regulator. So I confirmed the polarity of the wiring here. So on the MaxxAir fan, the black wire is your positive, and the ground is the white wire here. And actually getting almost 13 volts coming from shore power. So that's most likely what the problem is. So once I wire in the regulator, this should be a constant 12 volts. So we'll work on that next. This is the voltage regulator that I'm going to use, and on the left side of the converter is your input, and it goes positive negative and then negative positive for your colors and polarity. And I did confirm it's 13.6 volts as my source, which is, you know, a volt and 1.6 volts over what this what the circuit board wants to be at. So once I swap this over and it gets a consistent 12 volt out, I'm hoping that will solve this problem. So we'll find out. I'm just using some double stick foam tape to mount the converter up here in this hollow section. And so the wiring input's going to come from over here. I'm going to break these connections, go to the input here, and then on the output, which will be your regulated 12 volt, we'll go back into the circuit board. So I thought that was a little clean spot to put it. Okay, I'm temporarily adding power back to the circuit. After I broke my wires here, I put a couple gator clips in. What we're going to do is confirm the polarity. And yeah, see, we get a positive 13.6 volts. So that is how we confirm that the black wire is the plus 12 volts, and the white wire is our ground. So now we know what our input and output will be for the regulator. So let's wire that in now, and we'll measure the output. Okay, now that we've got the first bit of wiring in for the converter, let's test the output now and see what we get. If we did things right, we should get a 12 volt. Sure enough, it's much better. That should be more within range of what the circuit board is expecting. So that's looking good so far. Let's continue this by sending the output voltage back to our circuit board. Okay, I got it all wired back in, just, you know, loosely, because I want to test it before I put everything back together. So if all goes well, I should be able to hit my button here and the fan should operate. So here we go. Okay. I think that about fixes our problem. It was the voltage all along. So in case you're wondering, yeah, 1.6 volts over is enough to make a MaxxAir fan fault out. And really what the problem is, or the symptom that you will have is, you go to press the power on button, the fan will open, the shroud will open, it'll run for a few seconds, then it'll just start beeping a green light at you before closing the shroud, turning the fan off, and then it actually continues to beep for, I don't know, probably about 10 seconds. So if that's the symptom you're having, have a look at your voltage going in. It wants about 12 volts, not 13.6. Well, I got everything back together now, so let's see if it fixed our problem. Alright. Very good. Okay, so I guess we'll call this problem solved. And yeah, once again, it was just voltage. It was over by about 1.5 volts, 1.6 volts. So yeah, if you come across that problem with a MaxxAir fan where it powers down on you and starts beeping, I think first things first, you should check the voltage. It seems to be sensitive by a little over a volt is all it takes to make it act up. So yep, happy with that. Power it down. And I hope this helps somebody. I'll post this up, and yeah, if you got a MaxxAir fan, check it out. Easy fix.